so already. I hope you guys have a great Friday. Tone, it's the Tone Show.
Hello. I'm flattered, mate. I'm flattered. You make me blush. That's 2 weeks on the bounce now. You've said the Tone Show.
I think I'm just going to rename it. It is now the Tone Show.
Bloody hell.
So get used to it, man.
Yeah, I will. I love it. Thank you very much. But yeah, just seeing all the comments, because I hadn't realised till I saw people saying the Tone Show. I was thinking, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, love it. Thank you for having me again.
Good to have you back, guys. We are going to speak. We've changed our plan a little bit for today's stream. We was going to speak purely about the football, but this morning, I don't know if some of you guys might have not seen, because it has only broken the sort of last 45 minutes, but Sam Lee's been speaking this morning about transfers, and he's gone quite in depth about Manchester City's summer transfer window, and he goes quite into detail here. Now, first of all, I want to speak about Savio, because this is the first person that he spoke about, and of course we all know that Savio is desperate for a move to Manchester City. He speaks about us pretty much every time he's interviewed. This is what he says this morning: Girona winger Savio will be a fairly easy signing to make, given he plays for City's sister club and has spoken about his desire to make the move. This is what he said. He said, "When I signed for the City group, I had the ultimate role of joining Manchester City, and not least because obviously City want him as well. The 19-year-old has played mainly on the left wing this season, but for PSV, he has played on both wings and in central attacking areas too." Because this has obviously been a slight concern about the Savio deal, because everyone's been like, don't we need a right winger? But he has played on the right wing before. And of course, he says below there, City are also interested in Pedro Neto as well. But Savio looks like a deal, Tone, that, as Sam Lee says there, is one that City would be able to get across the line. You'd think fairly easy, as he said. City do own, or the CFG own the club that he's at. Obviously, he's on loan at Girona at the moment. I mean, what's your sort of views on a winger? Do you think we need a winger? Because at the moment, you've got Oscar, Bob and Bernardo on that right-hand side, and obviously you've got Doku and Grealish on the left. But as we all know, Bernardo Silva does have that £50 million release clause.
Yes, I do. I mean, I'll get lynched here by some, because I spent all last summer saying we're not signing a fast winger, and then they went and got Doku. But yeah, we need someone out on the right, because Foden's going to be coming more in the middle, primarily on the right. Doku can also play on the right, by the way. So he can do left and right. Savio can do left and right and middle, apparently, but left and right as well. There's no harm in that, no harm at all. So yes, I do. This one looks like a signing that could absolutely happen, as you say. It just seems to make sense. City are clearly fans. Chicky has been to see him, or the scouts have. And he is, like you said, is on his knees to join City, like many players are nowadays. You know, the chap at West Ham, Paqueta and so on, they're all talk highly of City and wanted to work with Pep. So it makes logical sense. And yes, I think, we do need another winger. He sounds, I've not seen a huge amount of him, probably 5 or 6 games. And he reminds me of Doku, the way he drifts past players and so on. He's still fairly young, or is young. So it's just more excitement for that attack, to be honest. So who wouldn't want it?
Well, this is he's having a fantastic season. Of course, he's currently at Girona, who... despite pretty weird, but slightly disappointed that they're not top of the table. But they're obviously in the Champions League spots at the moment. This is his numbers so far this season. He's played 26 games in all competitions. That's split up 22 in La Liga and 4 in the Copa del Rey. In the league games, he's got 5 goals, 7 assists, with 2 goals coming in the Copa del Rey, giving him a total goals and assists this season of 7 goals, 7 assists in 26 matches. And if we do that by the minutes, which he's played 1,995 divided by 14, that gives you a goal or an assist every 142 minutes, which is very, very impressive for a winger. He is young. He's only 19 years old. He'll turn 20 in April. So he's very young. And I've seen him a few times when I've watched Girona, and certainly a player there. There was a couple of games I've seen where he's looked, I feel like he's trying to impress rather than playing his natural game. You know, I feel like, do you remember like Cole Palmer last year? Every time he got on the pitch, sometimes he did stuff that you thought, why is he doing that? It's because he's trying to impress rather than just doing the right things. But when you're limited on minutes, you try and impress. And that's what I've seen Savio do a few times this season. However, a recent game that I watched him in, he didn't do that. He just played his sort of natural game. He looked more natural, and he looks like a very, very like sort of impressive player. And given the fact he's only 19 going on 20 this year, I mean, he's obviously a very, very promising player. He wants to join Manchester City as well, which I think is obviously a benefit, because that means that he'll want to work and learn under Pep Guardiola. And as you rightly said, he can play left, right. Doku can play left, right. And it gives us lots and lots of flexibility. So it seems like a deal that I would be surprised if City don't go for this, because rumour has it you can get him for around £30 million, which in today's market, Tom, just seems pretty cheap, to be honest.
It does, if he ticks the boxes. And City don't just buy anybody, or I think we had this with stockpiling we've discussed before. They won't just buy a player to sort of throw in to make it 20. It's if the boy is good enough, and he, like you said, if he's 30, even 40, even bloody 50 million in this market, and he ticks the boxes we want, it's a bargain. In this day and age, it sounds ludicrous, but it is. But he looks exciting. Yeah, I'm with you. I've seen pretty much same sort of him as you have. I get what you're saying about him trying to impress. Definitely, I've seen him trying some fancy flicks and stuff, which that's not going to fly really. He'll come to learn that if he joins here. That's not going to work here. But They're very exciting in the main of what I've seen with him, and as ever under Pep, it could be crazy stuff.
It's certainly one to keep your eye out on that one, guys, because like I say, and just put it in the chat, it would be a pretty easy deal to do for Manchester City, given that we're both owned by the CFG group. And it'll be interesting to see how we get on that one. Now, another player that we've been linked with, there was a couple rumours at the start of the transfer window saying, I wonder if we can get this guy in January. Joshua Kimmich, contracted at Bayern Munich only until 2025, so he'll have a year left on his contract. The deal wasn't done in January for whatever reason. However, again, rumours coming out that Manchester City are very, very interested in Joshua Kimmich. He'll only have a year left on his deal in the summer. So again, you'd imagine that is a deal that City could or should be able to get over the line. You know, he's 28 years old. He'll be 29 by the time we get to the summer. I don't think this would be a massive transfer, even though he's a great player. With only 1 year left on the deal, Bayern Munich are not really in the sort of power position to sort of be very, very strong in their transfer negotiations. I'll get up the words from Sam Lee in a second. But Tom, what's your thoughts on Joshua Kimmich? Do you think that he could come in? Because I've seen actually a bit of a mixed opinion on Joshua Kimmich. I really like him. I think he'd be really good for Manchester City. I've seen a lot of people judging him on the performances from Bayern Munich this year. However, the only thing I'd say about that is Munich, I don't think Bayern Munich are a good team. And I feel that, like, if you put him in Manchester City's side, I think he'd be a lot better. You'd see a lot better Joshua Kimmich. What's your take on Kimmich? Would you like him at City?
Oh, yeah, dream signing. I've said it before we were linked. He's one of my absolute favourites. Anyone who knows me sort of away from this, and one of my favourite players is Kimmich. So I would love Kimmich at City. I still stand by he will last longer than the Bayern manager. And the new guy will come in. I think we said about this last week or the week before, put his arm around him, new contract. But if not, and he is absolutely clear, he wants a change, he wants a new challenge, then City will definitely be in, because Pep loved him at Bayern. He made that absolutely clear. And I've read the book with Pep and Bayern and so on, and it's quite clear in there, you know, how much of a fan he was of his and working with him back then. So to get him in, I mean, can you imagine a midfield of Kimmich and Rodri? The opposition wouldn't, I mean, they don't touch the ball much now. He'd be chasing the whole bloody game. You can probably tell, all excited. I had a big grin when you brought him up. Definitely want him at City. I've seen a few people say, not so fast. I'd rather have so-and-so. I'd rather have so-and-so. I would rather have nobody else. If we bought this summer, I'll have Kimmich, put him in midfield. Yeah, wow, what a player. What a player.
Well, this is what Sam Lee's put in his article about Joshua Kimmich. By the way, guys, make sure you have smashed a like on the stream, guys. We've got over 200 people tuned in right now. We're not even at 100 likes. We're 6 likes away from 100. 6 people, please hit that thumbs up button for us. Get us to 100 likes. This is what Sam Lee had to say. He says, there have been some rumours in Germany that Joshua Kimmich could be an option too. Although City played down the idea of a move for Kimmich in January, The Athletic understands a summer move is a different matter. Guardiola has traditionally stayed away from going back to his former club's players, although it is not impossible if they make it clear they want to leave, like Lionel Messi did in 2020. And a similar situation is currently developing with Joshua Kimmich. Compared to Savio, it's seen as a more difficult operation to pull off, but the 28-year-old is certainly an option for City that City are exploring. If he were to arrive, it would offer City that flexibility at right back and as well in the holding midfield. And I guess something that he's not put in there, slightly further forward in sort of a Gundogan role. For me, there's sort of 3 positions that Kimmich could play in this Manchester City team if he came in. So I think it's a deal that if it's available in the summer, because I kind of agree with Tone, I think if a new manager comes in and puts his arm around Kimmich and says, no, don't leave, stay here, sign a new deal, Tuchel's gone, I'm a nice manager. There's obviously, you don't know his mindset, you don't know his state. Does he just want out of Germany? Does he want out of Bayern and just wants a fresh challenge? Or is it purely and simply down to the manager? So we'll have to wait and see how that one develops. But this is certainly a deal that I think City will be interested in. And what I would say is if City do want him, I think they'll be speaking to him very shortly because they'll want to plant the seed before the new manager comes in, because I think most of us will probably accept that Tuchel will probably be gone in the summer unless he performs a miracle and wins the double or something like that. So interesting. I think it'll be a good signing. I don't think it'll cost the world as well because he's only got a year left on his deal. And of course, he is a top player. So give us your thoughts in the chat. Adrian says Kimmich is so versatile. And play right back, centre defensive midfielder and centre mid. I completely agree with that one.
Yes.
So, yeah, one thing I would say on that one, who would leave? Because do you think that we would be able to have Rodri, Kimmich, Nunes, Kovacic, Kevin De Bruyne, Foden, and even Rico Lewis, who plays in midfield at times? Surely someone there would have to leave in the summer.
And you've missed Bernardo, I think, and he would be the one, I think. Yeah, I think Bernardo would be the one. There is a clause with him around 50 million, which some will say, well, who's paying it? It's quite right. I mean, maybe Bayern Munich might pay it, but if he wants to go there, Paris can just pay whatever they want. I don't know if he's keen to go to Real Madrid. I don't know about that sort of side of things with him. Barcelona, you and I have more money in our pocket now than they've got, so I don't think they can probably afford to jump in. But I think, to answer your question, I think someone would have to go because it is literally stockpiling at that point, and it would very likely be Bernardo. It's not going to be Kovacic. It's not going to be Nunes. It's certainly not going to be De Bruyne. It's not going to be Rodri. I'm just trying. Foden, definitely not. So you're going for all these names. The only one is Bernardo. Realistically, Rico's also not going. So it's Bernardo. It would be Bernardo out, Kimmich in, if that happened, I would imagine.
Interesting. Big up to Sign Silver coming in with a super chat. Says, yes, the Tone Show, my new favourite show. He said, Musiala and Kimmich, if this happens, it will cure my erectile dysfunction, says Sign Silver. He's getting excited about something. Well, on that, Sign Silver, look at this bit here. Sam Lee also says, if Jamal Musiala elects not to sign a new deal in Munich, then City... that might pique City's interest too, but there are other priorities at this very early stage. So it looks like maybe City have got one eye on Musiala, but maybe again because we've spoke about that stacked midfield, probably, and obviously Kevin De Bruyne isn't going anywhere. We hope if Kevin De Bruyne doesn't go anywhere, maybe City are looking at the fact that we've got De Bruyne, Foden, Kovacic, Nunes, and of course we might be getting Kimmich as well. Maybe just thinking, let's just chill out on the Musiala thing. But Musiala, that's going to be an interesting one because, again, he's running down his contract and he's going to be in a very, very powerful position very soon to negotiate a new deal or get a move away.
Yeah, this one I don't think has as much legs to it. It's strange how two of Bayern's best players want out. I still think it's around the manager and the way Tuchel plays, which is grim for any player, especially someone with an attacking talent as him. I don't see this one happening. He's very good. I just don't see the need for him as much. I just don't see him at City, to be honest. He's very good. I'm not questioning he's not a good player, but I don't see the need like the other two. I can see Savio because for positional and the ease of the transfer and so on. And Kimmich goes, in my view, goes without saying. If he's available, get him. End of. Musiala, don't quite see it for City. No.
Well, one player that is absent from this article, and I found it very interesting. Lucas Paqueta is not involved in this article one bit. He's not even mentioned once. What do you think's going on here with Lucas Paqueta? Because of course, City are massive fans. We had a bid basically accepted by West Ham before it all fell through for obvious reasons. We all know about that. We don't need to go into it again. Rumor has it that is supposed to be dealt with by the end of this month, maybe March, but it's essentially done before the end of the season. And a lot of rumours coming out from the West Ham end. Of course, they're going to be biased and they're going to try and keep spirits high. But a lot of people are saying that he's done no wrong.
Yeah.
Do you find it strange that City is sort of gone a bit dead, or do you think City could go back in for Paqueta, or do you think that's a dead situation? Because I'd love him. I think Lucas Paqueta is a great player, but I just don't.
Yeah.
I think maybe we've just sort of abandoned it a little bit.
I would love him at City. He's another one, brilliant player. The only question I would have is we didn't get him in the summer, so we got Nunes. Literally, I think a day or two after, or around that time, that fell through. Nunes come in. Nunes looks great. Man of the match the other night, improving. Similar-ish players. The question is, and I know people, and myself included, love a nice little toy, no new toy, and I love it, and he'd be great and brilliant, and he would be good for City. It's the need. Do we really need him? Some will probably go, yeah, bloody well right we do. But I'm not so sure, because why did we sign Nunes? So I would love him to come to City, and if we don't sign him for 85 million, somebody else will. And you know, let's face it, Chelsea will probably go in, or to be honest, it'd be good for Liverpool, someone like Liverpool as well. He will end up somewhere. He will leave West Ham this summer, because 85 million, it sounds balmy, but 85 million is a good price for him. There's no negotiation. 85 out the door. I would love us to sign him. I really, really would. But the thing that comes, like I keep saying, is come back in my head is, look at the midfielders we've got. And if you had Kimmich, where on earth is Paqueta playing? Where's he playing, mate? Where on earth? Don't know.
Yeah, answer to that question. I don't know. Surely Kovacic or Nunes would have to leave, but that would be a bit strange given the fact you've only just signed him in the summer. Like, you've only got 1 year, and it's a bit of a strange one. But we'll have to see. I mean, at the end of the day, until these betting allegation things are sorted, then I don't think you're going to get anyone linked to him, because obviously no one's going to be interested because obviously you see what happened with Tonali, for example, at Newcastle, spent 50 million quid on him and then can't play for a year. So it will be interesting to see what happens once that's sorted out. And rumour has it that it's going to be in the next month or two. So let's see what happens there. But yeah, I just thought we'd start the show with the transfers, just because obviously Sam Lee just dropped the article and I thought it would be pretty interesting. But I do want to turn our attention towards the weekend's football. But before we do, I don't want to go over it in detail, but what was your thoughts about the game on against Burnley midweek? We got the win 3-1. Maybe slightly disappointed we conceded the goal. Could have got some more goals to help with the goal difference, but ultimately it's another win. That's 8 wins in a row in all competitions. 3 points in the bag. What's your thoughts on the Burnley game?
I thought we played great for the vast majority, bar that switch off at the end, which was disappointing. It doesn't take away from the fact of how good we were for 92 minutes or what have you. We cruised it, to be honest, and Burnley... It's nice playing teams like, well, not normally Burnley, because they don't, before Company, they were Sean Dyche team, were very, very different. But it's nice playing these teams that think they can come and attack, and it'll be a bit expansive, because they're just asking for trouble, especially at our place. And Burnley asked for trouble from the first minute. I think City played within themselves. They didn't really get out of near enough bottom gear, really. And that's not to say they didn't play well. They did. They dominated, played really well, but that's the level City are at the moment, is they can turn up, play within themselves, win 3. I was about to say 3-0, 3-1, fairly comfy. If they needed 5, I think they'd have scored 5. yeah, I know that sounds a bit arrogant, but it did come across that City scored the third early in the second half, then just played keep ball essentially for a little while after that. Overall, really impressed. I thought Nunes was amazing, man of the match. But I thought everyone was pretty good. Rodri's always good. We sort of take for granted, I think, because he doesn't often get a mention now because he's so good every week. So it can be a bit like that with Foden. People don't tend to mention him so much because he's always good, and Haaland and so on.
I thought Foden played well against Burnley, and he got an assist, and he put the ball in behind for Nunes for the Alvarez goal, so like a pre-assist if you count that. But when I did the player ratings, a lot of people said to me, "Now, LB, what game was you watching?" Like in the chat, people was trying to cook me saying he was average. But I don't think you're ever going to see the best Phil Foden out on the right wing. But I still think he had a good game. He was involved in 2 of the 3 goals.
Yeah, he's always a threat as well. He always is. He wasn't as involved as he is when he's in the middle running the show. But this is the problem he's going to have, Foden, is the other players that can only maybe play in the middle. De Bruyne's back, Nunes, all these players all clamouring now for a midfield spot. They all want that midfield role, creative, dictate, part next to Rodri, all this sort of stuff. And Foden's going to find that difficult. He's as good as any of them. But Foden can also play other positions. And I think that, in a way, will work against him if he wants to play in the middle. I was just going to add, just quick, I was asked because someone said, "Oh, Tony, you're always deluded, talking positive. Give us a negative or something." So I did think of one the other day. The only slight cause for concern against Burnley, I didn't think Rico played particularly well.
Mm-hmm.
He's still learning. He's still young. I'm not questioning he's not a good player. I just see, you can see Burnley, any issues they cause come down that side. And they targeted him, which you would as the opposition. If you look at City's back line, you go, Rico, definitely. I still think he is, which you would expect, off the level of the rest. I'm not saying he should be as good as Diaz and Stones and everyone else. But he just looked a bit off to me. His passing wasn't good. He lost the ball a fair few times. So if there was a slight concern, it was that. But to be honest, I don't think Rico plays in games so much where that will be an issue.
Yeah, listen, I agree on his performance. I don't think he had a particularly great performance. I think that there's a couple of things that come into play when people assess Rico's performance. One, I think people forget that he's further along in the development chain than he probably should be. Rico Lewis is younger than Oscar Bob. Rico Lewis is younger than Michael Hamilton, but he's played more matches, more minutes. Yeah. He basically skipped a year. Last year was meant to be, just get a couple of games here or there. He was thrown in the deep end during the mid part of the season when we went through a very rusty phase and did very, very well. Yeah. And this season, whilst he's continued to play football and played still quite a lot of minutes, he doesn't get regular games. I mean, if you look at the Premier League, for example, before the Burnley game, didn't play against Newcastle, played only 22 minutes against Sheffield United. His last significant minutes was against Crystal Palace, which was on the 16th of December. You know what I mean? Over a month ago, he played 90 minutes against Huddersfield. That was on the 7th of January. So effectively, he's not really played any proper football since the 7th of January. That can be quite tricky. But I just feel that with him, it's just development. You know what I mean? He's a young player. He's come through the academy. And like I say, skipped a year. He's ahead of Bob. He's ahead of Mika Hamilton because he's only 19. He's turning 20 later on this year. So I'm kind of chill with him. The only thing I would say is he's a very energetic player. He moves with the ball very quickly. And I think sometimes that can actually be a detriment because then when he releases the football, sometimes he's a little bit too quick to do it. And I think sometimes if he just calms down a little bit, adds a little bit more composure to his game, that could benefit him. But I think you have to call it out. Obviously, if he has a bad performance, you got to say he has a bad performance. But I think it's purely because he's just learning. He's in this difficult phase of in and out the team. He doesn't play for a lot and then gets thrown in. But the fact that we've got a player like that who's 19 years old, only just turned 19 in November, and can play pretty much every single position on the pitch, man. Like left back, right back, midfield, centre defensive mid, attacking midfield. Geez, it wouldn't surprise me if he played false 9 at one point. So
probably.
Yeah, and you know, Adam says there his issue is physicality. He's only 19. Yeah, I mean, he'll continue to get more and more physical as the years go on. So I think instead of looking at Rico as the finished product and going, oh, this is Rico Lewis, think of it like this is what we've got. And we've still got 2-3 years probably of more development, and he's going to get better and better. So, I agree with the call out. But like I say, for me, I like to think that the positive side of that and think, imagine where he's going to be like in a few years when he's got all this experience under his belt. Guys, make sure you drop a like on the stream if you've not done so already. We have now gone past 100 likes. We're 7 people away from 150 likes. Please, guys, hit the thumbs up button if you've not done so already. Let's get to 150 likes, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well if you are new, and make sure you're following Tone on Twitter, or it's now called X, at MCFC Tone. Before we come on to the Brentford game, which is, of course, a huge game, I do want to speak a little bit about the Liverpool-Arsenal game. It's at the Emirates. This is obviously, every City fan's probably going to be watching this game because it's so important for the title race. And, of course, the outcome is going to impact Manchester City. It's at the Emirates. So that's good for Arsenal. But Liverpool at the moment with this Jurgen Klopp news seem to have a massive sort of confidence boost. And this is the Premier League table. Your thoughts on this? If Liverpool win this game, they'll go 8 points ahead of Arsenal. Is that Arsenal out of the race, considering that Arsenal then no longer play Liverpool and they're relying on other teams to take points off of Liverpool?
Yes, I don't like throwing out people being out the race and stuff, as people know, around Jan, Feb, even March. But I mean, I personally don't think Arsenal win the league even if they win this game. But to answer your question, if they lose this game, they cannot win the league, because you're talking that would be 3 wins behind. So you're not only saying, okay, well, Liverpool and possibly City have got to lose 3 games. They've got to win every game.
And they've got an inferior, sorry to interrupt, they've got an inferior goal difference as well, Tone. Arsenal.
Exactly.
So it's an extra point they need as well.
So, you're talking 3 straight wins. And that again, as I say, is 3 losses for Liverpool, 3 for City, and they'd have to win every game, which they're not. They're going to drop another 2-3 games at least. So then you're talking where they're probably going to have to lose 5 or 6 games. It's not going to. That won't happen to both City and Liverpool. So if Arsenal lose the game, they cannot win the league. No, they will not win the league if they lose this one. Plus, the heads will drop.
I agree. I just don't see how you can lose this game, Arsenal, be 8 points behind, not play Liverpool again, because that's not a positive. People will go, oh, yeah, but we don't play Liverpool again. No, you need to play Liverpool because you need to beat them to take points off them. That's how the game works when you're in a title race. You can't, that's the L mentality. So I'm with you. I think Arsenal really, considering the fact that they're already 5 points behind, I think Arsenal need to win the game. I think a draw keeps them in it. But again, you're looking at other teams to take points off of Liverpool, and I just think that's not an ideal situation to be in, especially the way Liverpool look like they're going to be playing for the rest of the season. Playing 100% and giving everything for the badge and the manager. So I think it's going to be super interesting. Like I say, a draw probably keeps them in it, but it's not ideal. What do you think the result will be?
It's easy to sit on the fence for this one because it's got draw written all over it. If it was at Anfield, Liverpool by at least a couple of goals. With Arsenal, Arsenal are so flaky. That's the problem. To me, Arsenal they've got good players, but they don't have necessarily a leader. And players like Odegaard he'll go and score a hat-trick now, but he doesn't tend to turn up in these games when they really, really need it. He needs to be the player to start stepping up. And Jesus, as we know, good player. He won't score the goals really that's going to be needed. Saka's hit and miss. I'll say draw. If I had to pick a winner, I would probably have to say Liverpool at the moment. I think if Liverpool win, it's equally as huge for their title, because if they go to Arsenal and win, knock them out the race, they are going to be buzzing. And they've only got Europa as well. So it's going to become very difficult. So I think a draw, but I think if I had to pick a winner, as I say, it'd be Liverpool. I just think Arsenal too flaky for me.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree, Tone. I'm with you in this exact same. I think it'll be a draw. I think that without Salah, which I still don't think they're going to have Salah available because I think he's got another week or two left. But if Salah is not available, I just think Arsenal might be able to deal with Liverpool's attack. But I just don't see them being able to score a lot. You know what I mean? Every time I watch Arsenal, like, I just feel that, like, I just don't feel like they're going to score goals. And that's not an ideal situation when you need to try and break down a team like Liverpool and when you've got players like Van Dijk there. So I'm going to go for a draw. I think a draw is the score prediction I'm going to go for, well, the result I'm going to go for. And that'd obviously be a great result for City, really. But again, I'm with you. I think if there is a game that someone's going to win, I think if there's a team that's going to win, I think it's going to be Liverpool, just because they've got the experience, they've got the know-how, and they're under less pressure than Arsenal in this game. Everyone knows if Arsenal lose this game, they're probably out. Yeah, even Arsenal fans probably accept that if they lose this game, that's 8 points. You've got to overturn 8 points in what 14, 15 games left. And you've got the inferior goal difference, and you don't play Liverpool again to try and take the points off them yourself. You know, so then what you're hoping? You're hoping that City beat them. Well, City are ahead of you in the league anyway. So how's that work? That's not exactly ideal for you either. So, I think draw is the score that I want, and I think is the score that we'll get, the result that we get. But I think if there is going to be a winner, it is going to be Liverpool. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm probably going to do a live watch. Well, I'm going to do a live watch along of that game, by the way, on Sunday, guys. So make sure you join me Sunday afternoon. It's going to be a big one. Don't go anywhere. Don't miss it. It's going to be huge. Let's turn our attention then to City's game. Obviously, Monday Night Football, which comes with its pros and cons. Pros, we get time to rest after midweek game. That extra day's rest is obviously very good for us. But cons, if Liverpool win, my God, the pressure on that game, son. I mean, we'll be 8 points behind. Yes, we'll have 2 games in hand, but to go to Brentford, you know, with being 8 points behind, a difficult place to play football. Ivan Toney's back. That is going to be some game.
It's going to be a very difficult game. We lost both games to them last year. I think we beat them both times the previous year without conceding a goal, I seem to recall. But last year, there is a little caveat with that in terms of last year, because we'd already won the league when they beat us at their place. And I think we made 8, 9, 10 changes. Gomez was playing and so on. And then the first one was just before the World Cup, wasn't it? I think that was the last game. And God, Lord, we were terrible. Not taking anything away from Brentford. They deserved to win that day. So it's going to be a tough game. As you said, Tony's back. The pressure will be huge if Liverpool win, because you've got to remember we've still got to go to Anfield. So you talk 8 points, and then suddenly our record at Anfield, you could talk 11, and I guess we're maybe overthinking it there. But then if they draw and we win our 2 games in hand, we're top of the league. So you look at it the other way. Or if Arsenal win and we win our 2 games in hand, I think we're top of the league. So it's a massive game, and it's one of them games I don't look forward to, because these are one of a few teams where there is a very potential banana skin. These are one of the mid-table teams where I look at and I go, oh no. I think this one's going to be tough, and it'll be won by maybe a goal. I think very close.
I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest with you. Last season, I think you're right to highlight last season. Yes, we lost both games. Again, not to take anything away from Brentford. I'm doing this purely to make myself feel better, not to play down Brentford, by the way, if there's any Brentford fans tuned in. The first game was just before the World Cup, and we've seen that before international breaks, quite a lot. City's performances are not the best just before an international break for some reason. I'm not 100% sure why that is. So I'll put that down to that. Again, just to make myself feel better, not knocking Brentford. And then you are right again in the return game at the end of the season. We'd already won the league, so how much can you really read into that? There was a lot of changes made. Calvin Phillips played, Sergio Gomez played, Laporte played, who's not played all season. Cole Palmer started the game, so there was a lot of changes in that one. So yes, full credit to Brentford for beating us both times last year. I'm going to look at the positives and say there was other factors available, but it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game, and of course, the good news is, looks like we've got a full squad for it. I don't know what's going on with the Akanji trained, right?
He did. Yeah, Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's done a few sessions now. Pep's on. Is he on in about an hour? So he will confirm, hopefully, that he's available for the squad. I don't see why not. Pep said no knee problem, and more importantly, is Haaland that he had no, what's the word, recurrence or any issues with his knee. He was training the next day, and you've seen the pictures as well of him smiling and so on. He's involved out on the pitch indoors as well. So he's also had no problems from the 20-minute cameo. So everyone should be fit, unless something's happened in training. Everyone should be fit to go on Monday, which would be amazing, but then makes our predicted 11 bloody hard, really hard, which is a nice headache to have, of course.
Yeah. Well, it's better than what it was like for the majority of the season, where we've basically known the starting 11. But I think it's great. Yeah. I think it's great news that we finally have a full fit squad. I think it gives Pep Guardiola optionality, which is what we need and what all managers need, really. You just said it's going to be difficult to get a predicted 11 out. Well, guess what we're doing now, Tone?
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Guess what we're doing now, Tone?
Yeah, here it comes.
Here we go. Right, so we're going to try and put down a predicted 11 here, guys. This is for the game against Brentford on Monday night. Obviously, I'll do a preview closer to the time, and we can go through this again. But I'm interested to hear sort of Tone's take. Do you want to do a predicted 11, or do you want to do Tone's 11? What do you want to do? It's the Tone show. You get to decide.
Tone show. Right, I'll do my 11.
Okay, Tone's so 11, Tone's the manager. This is Tone's team. Tone's team. Like it. Right, come on. Ortega in goal then, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Nicky Weaver. Yeah, Edison. Always Edison, please.
Okay.
Right. Oh, bloody hell. Right. Well, we'll have Walker, please, at right.
Not interested in playing a Kanji at right back. By the way, I'm gonna like just throw things in there to make it more difficult for you.
Yeah. No, let's go Walker. I think Akanji's just back. So
okay.
Let's go Walker. And I was quite impressed with Walker. He didn't play the last one, but the game before, I thought, who did we? Spurs.
Spurs game. Yeah, he did well.
I thought he played very well. He looked back, switched on, which is good. So let's go Walker. Excuse me. Let's get Diaz and Stones in the middle there, mate.
Oh, Diaz and Stones, eh?
Yeah, they're my two faves. We are got unbelievable quality in there, and everyone will have a view. Whatever view you have of who you put at the back is a good option. They're all bloody good players. Left. Did Ake play the other night? Didn't he?
He played centre back. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna say he won't play. I'll put the old Rolls Royce man, Guardiola, at left.
Oh, I thought he was going to go Ake, because that's what I want to see. This is for me. This is what I want to see. I think Ake's just that for me is what can win us another treble potentially. Yeah, I like Guardiola, but I'll personally go Ake and. Okay, Guardiola, you could play Guardiola left.
I'm going to, just because Ake's played a couple of games and rest. So if I'm picking, I'd say, okay, Ake, not this one, but then we've got Everton, I think, after this. He'd come in for that one for sure. Rodri, without any doubt.
Okay.
And as you put that there, I'm busy thinking, this is tough, mate. This is very tough.
Well, there are your players at the bottom of the screen there.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, you got Núñez. Brilliant.
I thought he played well. I thought he played well in midweek. I thought he really, really played well. I think what it highlighted to me is when teams press us, Tone, he's a very good weapon to have in the team, because the way he turns on the ball and all of a sudden you're breaking. Now, whether he's going to be as effective against teams that play more defensively, and I don't know what Brentford are going to do. I don't know. But I thought he played really well.
Yeah, it's terrific. But Kovacic was brilliant. The game against Spurs, I think he was man of the match, or he's certainly in the shout. He then doesn't play in the week. I think Kovacic will play, and I would play him. I would put Kovacic in for this one against this type of opponent.
Okay.
I think we'll need those legs in mid. I feel bad for Núñez, and people who follow me know how much I go on about Núñez, but I'm going to start him on the bench for this one. I think, oh my Lord, this is bloody difficult. We've got Bernardo, De Bruyne, Foden. How many spots have I got here? 1, 2, 3. Let's go De Bruyne next to Kovacic.
Another start for Kevin De Bruyne. Any concerns about throwing him in again? I mean, it is basically 5 days rest he's had because he had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you got all of Monday before you. So it's basically 5 days rest. He has 4 days sleep. Because I know for a fact some people in the chat will be like, no, he can't play 2 games in a row. Any concerns about that, or are you confident that you can throw him back in again for another game?
No, put him in. Let's get him going. He's, like you said, 5 days break. If it was Wednesday, Saturday, I'd say no bench. But a couple more days, get him in. Let's get Kev going. He needs more game time. Only an hour, and then you can bring on. I'm just trying to think who on earth am I going to put out here on the right. I mean, it should be Foden, really. But Bernardo didn't play, did he, the other day? I don't think. No. So he's probably going to... Crikey, this one's tough. On the left, I'll go Grealish, if that's all right. I'll put Grealish out on the left.
Yeah, did you think it was a bit of a surprise that he didn't start the game at the weekend, midweek? Because I thought he was going to start against Burnley, and he obviously came off the bench, and he's not played too much football recently. Like, you surprised at the lack of minutes, or?
Yes, very, very surprised. I thought he would have possibly started, or... I'm not sure, maybe, I don't know this, but maybe he's not 100%. That's all I can think of, because he really isn't playing much recently. And he has had a few issues, isn't he? He's not been well and sort of thing. So hopefully, I think he'll start this one. I just think this is the type of opponent where you'll want a Grealish and not a Doku. Again, both great players, both brilliant, bring their own thing. But I think for this type of hard-working game against Brentford, I think Grealish will start on the left. And now that right-hand side.
Yeah, this is a difficult one for you because you've got what? Let's have a look. You've got Doku, Bernardo, Foden.
Yeah. It's lovely, isn't it? What a headache. Let's
nice. When you got a fully fit squad, how nice is it when you got a fully fit squad? It's great.
It's wonderful. It's damn difficult to do this 11, but it is lovely. Foden out on the right, please, which means Burnley won't start again. For this team, he probably.
Bloody hell! Do you want him to stay, or do you want him to leave in the summer, Tom? Jesus, 2 games in a row, man.
Well, I'm starting early. You see, you know what fans do is when they leave and they turn around and they go, I'm never really a massive fan. He's all right. Yeah. So I'm starting early. So I can
overrated. Bit overrated.
Back in Feb, I said.
Okay, and then a big decision here. Big decision indeed. Let's not sleep on this decision either, because of course Alvarez has been doing pretty good recently. His goals and assists over the last 4, 5, 6, 7 games have been decent. But basically, just before I think the Club World Cup, ever since then he's kicked on again, because he did have a bit of a dip, didn't he? But he's playing really well. He's getting goals. 2 goals against Burnley. Second one was a great finish as well. But the Viking is back. He came on, played 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Does he? And this is a physical side you've got playing up against Brentford. Yeah. What are you doing here? This is a big call. Alvarez or Erling Haaland or false 9, someone else?
Right. I have Haaland in my fantasy team and captain. So that will tell you which way I would personally pick this. I'm going to put Haaland in, and I think Haaland will start as well on Monday. Mainly out of please do, because I need some points, because I'm crap at FPL. Excuse me. Pep said about managing the injury differently to De Bruyne. Haaland seems to have that thing where he just needs to play. There is no softly come in, although he did have 20 the other day. But I think just get him in, get him started, get him a couple of goals. So I personally would have Haaland up there. And I feel sorry for Alvarez, because I think he scored, 7 in 7 or something around those areas. Mm-hmm. And he's brilliant, top player. But if Haaland is fit and ready, Haaland starts every single time, because against whoever it is. So I personally would go Haaland. How about you?
Do you have any? I'll let you know my team in a sec. Do you have any?
Yeah, sorry.
Do you have any sort of how to phrase this? Like concerns about the fact that this is such a huge game? Is Haaland like fit? Because he looked a little rusty, of course, when he come back the other day. Do you have any sort of like, maybe just give Alvarez one more start, give Haaland another 30 minutes and then start him maybe at the weekend for the Everton game? Or are you just like, nah, throw him in?
Yeah, there is concern, I guess, around the sharpness because, yeah, like you said, he didn't look sharp and he looked quite tired, quite quick, which you would. But no, I just think he's that type of player and he's got that physique and all that you just chuck him in and give him an hour, bring Alvarez on for half an hour. Everton, I would start him again, then bring Alvarez on for half an hour or start Alvarez in a different position maybe for Everton. But no, I stand by that if Haaland is fit, and Pep says he is, and he's been training about a week and a half, he plays. He has to play, especially in a game, and you rightly pointed out, a physical game.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Guys, we're going to, I want you to give me your thoughts in the comment section now about Tone's team. What changes would you make to Tone's team? Which players do you not agree with starting? I've seen a lot of people speaking about Bernardo Silva. Who would you drop out? Where would you play? Let us know in the chat and we can have a bit of a debate about it, which will be pretty cool. Whilst you guys are doing that, make sure you've hit the thumbs up button. We've got 300 people tuned in for this and we're currently one like away, one person away from 200 likes, which is fantastic, guys. Thank you very much for smashing the like button. If we could get one more person to hit the like button, we'll get to 200 likes. Let's have a look what people are saying then, so let's see what people disagree with you on this. Let's see what people...
The whole 11 probably, mate.
Yeah, the whole 11. Okay, Nick's gone for this team. He's got Edison, Walker, Diaz, Stones, Ake, Rodri, KDB, Foden. So he wants Gvardiol dropped for Ake, and he wants Kovacic dropped for Foden in the middle, and then Bernardo right wing. He also wants Doku start. So actually quite a few changes there. I thought it was only one or two, but he's actually made quite a few changes. What's your thoughts on Nick's team there?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, good team, Nick. I mean, bloody hell. I mean, I look at that and I think, switch mine, take mine out, put Nick's on. Whatever we do is brilliant. Do you know what I mean? I look at Nick's team and I say, okay, well, we'll take Burnley out, put Nunez in. It's still brilliant. Take Doku out, put Grealish in. It's a brilliant team. I'd be happy with that team. I'd be happy with the one on the screen. Terrific team.
I'm going to put some more comments up on and in a second. What did you make of Doku's performance against Burnley? Because I thought that when he come on against Spurs, I didn't think he played particularly well until we scored, and then he did really well to keep the ball in the corner. I thought he didn't really keep the ball very well, didn't work hard enough off the ball, which of course Pep Guardiola shouted at him for. However, against Burnley, Tone, I tell you what, I know people will get into the whole final ball thing, right? I'm not speaking about that. But other than that, I thought he was really, really good. I thought tracking back, energy, work rate was probably the best we've seen. Taking players on, again, absolutely fantastic. Vitinho just had an absolute nightmare. And again, yes, we know about the final ball. He needs to improve on that, and I'm sure he will with time. But what's your thoughts on Doku in the last game against Burnley? And furthermore, what's your sort of views on Doku so far this season? Because he does split opinion, doesn't he? He's a very sort of interesting sort of player.
He is very interesting, very exciting. Youngsters love him, don't they? You all see him, because he's fast and he's quick and electric. And I think he's a terrific player, terrific talent. He's very not similar, obviously, to Grealish in terms of the type of player, but he does split the fan base. And it seems to be a Doku versus Grealish thing at times. And which way you fall. Do you like the control of a game of the Grealish, or do you like the just go for it and skin people and all this like Doku? I've been very happy with Doku so far this season. I think he's terrific. I thought he exactly what you just said there about him working hard, chasing back against Burnley. That was the most I'd seen him do it. And he also did it at the right time. And there was one where, I can't remember, centre midfielder for Burnley was running through and he scarpered the whole way back, won the ball, and we went back on the counter. And as Doku went out to the right, Pep was clapping him to say, that is exactly what I've been shouting at you to do for the last, since you've joined. And he had a big beaming smile. You could see him turn around with this big smile. It clicked with him. And I think we'll see more of that now from him. He's got to do both ways. You can't just be sat there doing skills and running past people to the byline. Has to do more in this team with Pep, or you will not play. So yeah, overall, really impressive him, and he's getting better, in my opinion, and he will get better and better and better. So yeah, really happy with Doku, and thought he played very well against Burnley.
Mm. Section says, I'd rather see Foden in the middle rather than on the wing. The whole question is, are we going to see Foden and Kevin De Bruyne in the middle in a single game? What's your, I don't know if we've ever spoke about this, Tom. I mean,
No.
what's your sort of take on that? Can you play Foden and Kevin the same game in the middle?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't see why not. We can, and it probably will happen. It might happen on Monday. But I just keep coming back to that point where, look, I want to see Foden in the middle. There's no doubt at all. But it's the players he's now up against, and the fact, Foden, as I said earlier, Foden can play other roles. Foden can play right, Foden can play left. I'm not so sure, say, someone like Kovacic can do that. In fact, I'm fairly sure Kovacic probably can't do that. So that's where we're going to miss out a bit with Foden in the middle now, with people coming back. It's great people are coming back. We want the full squad, but I do think it will hit Foden in the middle. But to answer your question, absolutely, Foden and De Bruyne can play in the middle together as long as there is the Rodri there. Obviously, we have to have Rodri sat there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think before we wrap up, let's speak about Rodri because those yellow cards are giving me an anxiety tone. They're giving me anxiety. So basically, guys, he needs to get to match day 32 and then it resets. And he's got effectively 2 yellows spare because if he gets the third, that's when he gets the 2-match ban. So he's effectively got 2. So he's got now, we're on what, match day 23. So he's effectively got, 9 games, and he's only allowed really 2 yellows because obviously, like I say, if he gets the third, then he'll be suspended. And of course, if we look at Manchester City's fixtures as we go down, and that's actually, I don't think I've ever actually done it where I've had a look what match day. Let me have a look at the fixtures and see when it actually resets. So this is match day 23, match day 24. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So basically, he's effective. He's not getting to the end of Aston Villa without getting 3 yellow cards, is he? So what's your sort of take on this? How do we play it? Are you worried? Are you not that bothered? Are you just sort of like, que sera, sera? What's your sort of take on Rodri and his yellow card situation?
He's going to go. I'd hate to say it, he is going to get a ban. It's going to happen. Hopefully not for Anfield. That's the only one I really worry about. Missing him for Anfield would be make a tough game very, very tough. I'm not. I know people say Rodri, we lose all our games and all this sort of stuff. I don't see it that way, and I expect of us to step up. And there are good bloody players in this team, and people will say, well, who are they then? And Phillips and all this sort of thing. And I know Kovacic struggled at Arsenal, didn't he? Come in, I think he'd just come back from injury possibly as well. And he got thrown in against Arsenal and he was all over the place. He should have been off the field. But I'm not massively concerned when he's missing, as long as it's not at Anfield. I think we have the players that can do, Burnley can sit in there, Kovacic can sit in there. I'm missing other players, but you can put the 3 in midfield as compact. There's players in there. Obviously, we want Rodri to play. He's arguably the first name on the team sheet, but I'm not one who thinks, oh dear, we're cooked without Rodri. We've got no chance. We may as well just, give up type thing. No, I never think like that anyway, but I just, he's going to get a ban and hopefully it's for, no offence to them, but a lesser team where we won't miss him at home. If you get at home to, I don't know, Fulham or somebody, no offence to Fulham, but, even Everton, which that's not going to happen because we haven't got enough games. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this is the whole, we had this debate before about do you sort of force the yellow so he misses it? Because, for example, if he was to get a yellow card against Brentford, Everton, and then Chelsea, he'd miss the Brentford game at home and Bournemouth away.
Yeah.
Now, not ideal still, 2 still good sides, but he'll be then back for Man United and he'll be fresh for all those games. He can go charging in, tactical fouls. So, listen, it's going to be interesting because I don't know how much they'll know about. Obviously, they'll know about it, but like, do they think about it? Will Pep and Rodri be looking at this, and the team be looking at this, thinking, you know what? If you get a yellow against Brentford, Everton, and Chelsea, you miss Brentford at home, Bournemouth away, but then you're fresh for all the tough games in March. Yeah. Also, like, yes. I don't know, like, how obvious does he make it? Does he? If we get to the 90th minute against Brentford and he's still not got a yellow card, like, what's he doing? Just grabs a player and pulls him to the ground, like, you could just go to the referee tone and just go like this. That's a yellow card now. That's how poor and embarrassing football is now, that this is a yellow card. How is this a yellow card? How is that a yellow card? How is me doing this a yellow card? It makes no sense.
Or go up to the ref and sarcastically clap him, and then you'll get a yellow card. Or just say, you're doing a great job again, ref. Well done. Yeah. Yellow. Thank you. I need that.
No, you know what, so knowing these referees, they'll probably go, oh, thank you, Rodri. Thank you, mate. And probably just think he's actually being serious. Cheers, pal. Not bad yourself. Good game yourself, Rodri.
Of course, Pep's on everything, isn't he? He will know, and he will see these games coming up, and he will not want him missing for United and Liverpool and Arsenal coming up. If there's like you just said, a couple where you've got Bournemouth and Luton or whoever it is, get your yellow cards, take them now. Go and have a week off, and we'll deal with it. If we can't beat Bournemouth and Luton without Rodri, then I agree we're in a spot of bother, or the others just haven't stepped up. But yeah, they definitely plan this stuff. They'll say they don't, because it could be seen in a way of fixing, if you see what
But how can you prove it?
Well, that's it. I mean, Paqueta, he's finding now getting yellow cards at convenient times, allegedly, just to add that. You'll know if he does something silly against, say, Brentford, 10 minutes to go, no yellow card. Say we're a couple up, we're cruising, and he trips a Brentford player on his way through for no reason. They're playing the game to get him suspended.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I guess at the end of the day, though, like, what rule are you breaking? If Rodri just decides that he's going to get a yellow card at the end of the game, like, is he breaking any rule there?
I don't really know.
Like, getting yellow cards is part of the game. So if Rodri just decides to get a yellow card at the end of the game, and then he gets a yellow card against Everton and one against Chelsea, and he gets suspended, like, at the end of the day, what rules has he broke? Why are you not allowed to do that? Are you not allowed to do that?
Yeah,
just to get a yellow card? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone can answer on the chat. I don't really know what the rule is. I worry about players going, I'll get a yellow card here. But like you said, why can't they? They might just fancy a yellow card, like a Roy Keane-esque type player who just thinks, sod this, I want a card, mate, and just fancies taking someone out for the day. So be it. But I think he will probably get a yellow card against Brentford at some point, and that will, to me, say he will also get one against Everton.
Yeah. Well, you might as well at that point, because before we wrap up, like, if you look at it, right, so say he manages to get to the United game without getting suspended, right? So he's got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got to go 5 games without getting 3 yellow cards, which is doable. It's doable. Yeah. But say he's not getting away there without missing at least 1 yellow card, right? Because the most he's gone this season in the Premier League without getting a yellow card is 3. 3 games. So he's not going to go 5 games without getting a single yellow. So let's say best case scenario, he gets 1 yellow card, right? He's not going to go through United at home, Liverpool away, Brighton away, Arsenal at home, Aston Villa away, without getting another 2. You know what I mean? So if he doesn't get, basically, right, prepare yourself. If he doesn't get suspended for Brentford and Bournemouth, he's going to be missing one of the big games. So you need to prepare yourself for that, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely don't want him missing, really, for Liverpool, Brighton and Arsenal, those 3. United, obviously we want him to play, but not so fast. I know it's Derby Day and so on, but Liverpool, maybe less so Brighton, but Arsenal, that triple there, where you need to control those games, those are the ones we need him for. The Rags one I won't be so concerned about, because they're terrible.
Yeah, I agree. But listen, it's going to be interesting to see what he does. I think if he gets booked against Brentford, if I was the manager, if I was the part of the coaching team, I'd tell him to get a booking against Everton and Chelsea, and just tell him to miss the Brentford and Bournemouth games, and then just be fresh. But the closer you get, obviously the closer you get to the United game and the Liverpool game, the more that you're gonna have to be less. You can't get a yellow card, otherwise you're gonna miss him. So let's.
I was just going to say, if it gets to that point where he's getting very close to Liverpool, of course, he may sit a game out. If it is literally on the next yellow card you miss Anfield, he could well be sitting out.
Yeah, absolutely interesting. Guys, make sure you smash a like on the stream if you've enjoyed today's Tone Show. We're only 10 likes away from 250 likes, so please make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Nearly 300 people tuned in right now. Let's get the likes to 250, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you are new. And of course, you can follow Tone on Twitter, or X as it's now known, at MCFC Tone. Up to much this weekend? Of course, City not playing again until Monday. Are you going away again, or a bit of a quiet one?
Yeah, no, quiet one. I've not been very well, so I'm going to rest up, and the other half's been a bit under the weather. So I think we're just going to rest up and go for a walk and different bits and take it easy, and hopefully watch a good game Sunday. How about you?
Yeah, I watched the game on Sunday. I do a watch along for that one. It's not really too much going on, and obviously it's El Clasico, which the chat told me about on Sunday night as well.
Oh, is it?
So I'll probably watch the Liverpool Arsenal game and then watch El Clasico on Sunday. So Sunday, day of sport, day of football. I think United are playing West Ham as well, which could be an interesting game.
There's an Everton Spurs as well, lunchtime tomorrow. That's a big game for both ends, that one.
Yeah, it is actually, isn't it? Because Everton are in the relegation zone now.
Yeah, that's a big game, that.
Yeah, they've completely fallen off. When they got them charges, they went on a bit of a run, didn't they? And now they've not got no winning in the last 5 games for Everton. They're seriously struggling. And of course, when you look at Luton, Luton really. I see when Luton, when we got drawn against Luton in the FA Cup zone, and I see Man City playing Luton Town. There was 1 second of me that went, oh, that's a good tie. And then I thought, oh, actually, no, Luton Town away is a really difficult game.
It is, and the way they're going in the league, it's a free hit for them, because normally you say, oh, they won't be asked if they drop out the cup because they'll focus. They want it, mate. They want it. And obviously the lad who had the problems, he come back, didn't he, the other day? Is it Tom? I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. The player who had the heart trouble at Luton, he come back just before the Brighton game for the fans to get them all sort of going, and then they battered Brighton. Was it 4-0 or something in the end? Luton beat them.
Yeah, it was. What was it now? It was
4-0, I think, 3 or 4 anyway. But it's a free hit for Luton. That's dangerous because they look. I'm sure possibly you were the same. Pretty much everyone was the same at the start of the season. Luton 20th, maybe 19th. Sheffield United, they're going down. No chance they're staying up. And now you're looking at it going, do you know what? I think they could well stay up now. Fair play to them.
If they stay up, mate, that's incredible.
He wins incredible. Manager of the year, or certainly in with a shout.
Yeah, he absolutely would be. It's Bayer Leverkusen. That's on Saturday, according to this, Frankie. You got day wrong there, but yeah, Bayer Leverkusen versus Bayern Saturday night, 5:30. Obviously, Florian Wirtz watch as well.
Yes.
Kimmich watch, Musiala watch. So listen, some real good football on this weekend. That's kind of cheered me up a little bit. Especially with City not playing. But listen, guys, we are going to wrap up. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you enjoyed another episode of The Tone Show. If you did, please make sure you drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this back on the replay, then just to let you know, we are live most Fridays around lunchtime. We usually tweet it out a couple of days before, so make sure you're following us on Twitter and then you can get it. So hopefully, guys, enjoyed it. If you did watch back on replay, give us your thoughts in the comment section down below. Might be live later on tonight, going to the cinema tonight.
What are you watching?
Well, it's a bit dead. There's nothing on really, so I'm going to watch we're going to watch a film. I think it's called Baghdad.
Okay.
It's like a horror film. It's only 90 minutes long. I think it's called Baghdad or something like that. Oh, Baghead it's called. Is it called Baghead? I don't think it's called Baghead. It's about some woman who inherits a pub and there's some weird thing living down in the basement that she's got to deal with. So I'm going to watch that tonight. So maybe I'll be live tonight, guys. If not, though, come back tomorrow and Sunday. We've got a big day of football. Guys, enjoy the rest of your Friday. It's almost weekend. Smash a like, subscribe, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.